ESPN. Richmond, it's time to get your morning going. Slice them up.
We are going to wreak havoc.
The only thing I am thinking about is the game.
Holy catfish! Touchdown, Seahawks!
Rashid Shaheed. Richmond Sports Talk by Richmond sports fans. This is Fitz the Bill with Jack Fitzpatrick. All live from the capital of the Commonwealth, where sharp analysis, your cause, and Richmond always come first. If it's making headlines locally or nationally, we're breaking it down. Live from the capital of the Commonwealth, Fitz the Bill with your host, Jack Fitzpatrick.
Good Thursday morning, March 26th. Appreciate you clocking in, getting your day started with us right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, the ESPN Richmond app, and ESPNRichmond.com. We're also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. If you want to watch the stream, just type in ESPN Richmond. We'll pop right on up, and you can watch live. You can be part of it. Also by calling or texting into the Radke Insurance phone line, 804-327-0888. And it is Thursday, which means we get the Sweet 16 tonight. We get the return of the NCAA tournament. It should be an absolute blast. I do want to update the Fitz the Bill tournament challenge here because in case you weren't listening to the show Monday, Tuesday, Ryan Greer is absolutely dominating the Fitz the Bill ESPN tournament challenge right now. He's got a 99.9% accuracy mark. He has 550 points. I got to click into Ryan Greer's overall performance because he's in the top, I think, 16,000 in the nation among all submitted brackets. Ryan is absolutely tearing things up over there on the Fitz the Bill Tournament Challenge. The winner does get some prizes. We're securing those prizes as we speak. And if you did enter the tournament challenge, congratulations. You know why? Because you're beating me. I am dead last, and it's not particularly close. It's not even a tie for last. I am in last all by myself, 8.6% through the first two rounds, 300 total points. For comparison, Ryan, the leader in our tournament challenge, has 550 points. I have 300 on the dot. Now, if I get the rest of the way right, if all of my picks are correct, I can shoot up the standings just a little bit, mainly because my national champion pick is still in it, Arizona. But man, it's been tough for the old tournament challenge. But we're back at it here tonight as the Sweet 16 gets underway. Some fantastic games are on the slate. Illinois-Houston should be a really fun one. Alan, I was really impressed watching Illinois play in that VCU game. They look the part of a team that could go to the Final Four. They've got a lot of different pieces, but they've got a huge test tonight, 10:05 p.m. on the East Coast here. We can talk all day about scheduling and how the windows work in the NCAA tournament. I'm going to suck it up. I'll just be tired on the show tomorrow after staying up until probably 1 a.m. watching these games, running on 4 hours of sleep. But I've got to see how Illinois is able to handle Houston's defense. That's going to be the key game within the game and probably one of the best matchups in all of the Sweet 16 games because Illinois boasts one of the best and most efficient offenses in the nation. Houston, as we all know, in the Kelvin Sampson era, they have boasted one of the best and most efficient defenses in the entire nation. Over the last, since 2021, Kelvin Sampson has had his defense rank in the top 10 in adjusted defensive efficiency every single year since 2021. And he has done some magnificent things with Houston. Illinois is going to have their hands full here tonight.
Yeah, not impressed with Illinois at all, actually. All right,
VCU fan.
Now, they are impressive. The size and athleticism that they possess is just something you just don't see often on the basketball floor in the collection that they have, right? Like I heard before the game, some people compared them to George Washington, but I would say they were George Washington on steroids. I mean, the guys on George Washington are huge, but they don't move like that. So
no, they don't. That's disrespectful to Illinois, comparing him to George Watt. Even if you're like, well, they're both big, like that's still just so disrespectful. Illinois is big and very athletic, and they boast Keaton Wagler, one of the best players in the nation, one of the best freshmen in the nation that we don't talk about all that much.
Well,
I mean,
we don't have a comp for that in the Atlantic 10, so I gave them a pass. They were trying.
I guess. I don't. Sometimes you don't need a comp.
No,
sometimes
you're right.
Illinois is Illinois.
Sometimes you just see something you just don't run across, and that's the only way you can explain it. That's Illinois.
And that's when you just got to do your Hail Marys before the game and hope every single one of your shots go down. And that's what VCU tried to do. VCU had that little run, but
Houston poses a different problem, though, man. They're so active on defense.
They pose such a different problem than any team in the nation. Like they turn you over. They don't let you get clean shots off. They don't let you get inside they hold opponents to 45% shooting from inside the arc. That's top 10 in the nation. That is an absurdly good rate for a team that also has extremely active hands. They don't really foul all that much. They're a very good and very, very disciplined defensive team, and that's been Kelvin Sampson's calling card over the last 5 years.
And they're shooting better this year, or at least scoring better. I can't definitively say, I don't have the stats in front of me if they're shooting better percentage-wise, but I'm pretty sure I've seen them scoring a whole lot more this year than they have in years past. And I think that's what hurt them against Florida, was just that lull that they had on the scoring side of things. I don't think they have many lulls this year in their season so far. No. And they look poised, man. I mean, it's hard to repeat. It's even harder to be consistently in a Final Four, and it seems like Houston's been doing that for the last, 3-4 years?
Yeah, I mean, dating back to 2022, Kelvin Sampson has led Houston to the second weekend, an Elite Eight appearance in 22, a Sweet 16 in 23-24, and the national runner-up just last year. And you're exactly right. The offense that he has this year is his best-rated offense per KenPom in the history of his coaching career.
And the defense is the same, so that's dangerous.
Defense is rated right now. It's the best rated defense he has had since 2020.
Good team, man.
He's been ranking in the top 5 since 2023, top 10 since 2021, and his adjusted defensive efficiency mark per KenPom at 90.9 is the best mark he has had since 2020. You could argue this is the best Kelvin Sampson team he has ever had, because some of the best numbers he's had came when they were in the American. And that's no slight to the AAC, right? Like, it's just a different level of competition, though, when you go to the
Penny there.
We've not even touched on the whole Penny Hardaway situation. I have gotten
very quiet on Penny Hardaway. This man. I don't want to touch on the Penny Hardaway situation.
This man, I don't know how he still has a job.
Next question.
But he's now doing it in the Big 12. He has some of his best offensive numbers, some of his best defensive numbers in the Big 12. But this is going to be his biggest test tonight against Illinois. A late tip, but this is a home game for Houston. This is being played in Houston. You know what? I don't want to say conniving thing they did, but a little raising an eyebrow thing they did. Have you heard about this?
No, I haven't.
So they're playing in Houston, and you might be sitting there and you're like, well, how is Houston, the team named after the city that they are playing in that city, right? They gave the hosting ability or the hosting duties to Rice. So the University of Houston is not the hosting university, which means they are allowed to play in that region. And so they got it. So
it sounds like how they used to set Duke and North Carolina up all the time.
You're not wrong there.
It was only a 5-hour trip for UNC and Duke for their first round. I mean, they usually get that favoritism. Would they put them in Raleigh? They were in Charlotte a couple years ago. Yeah, North Carolina was.
That's true. That is true. But it's just not often that you are in your city.
That is true.
Like a 20-minute bus ride from campus to your place. And Illinois, unfortunately, I think their bus ride may have been a little bit longer from Champaign, Illinois, but it is going to be the toughest game I think Houston has played this season. And I
put my boy Rick back in Brooklyn.
All right, Slick. I don't think they trust Slick Rick having all of his connections over there in the biggie. Someone's kneecap about to be gone.
Hey, have you ever seen, just for the laugh? Have you ever seen the meme? It was like a couple years ago. It's not even a meme. It's an actual picture. It's like when him and Hurley played like one of their first games or something. Hurley was having an issue with some guys sitting behind the bench or near the bench, and they look like people that you would expect Rick Pitino to hang out with. There's some guys, man.
They truly are. They truly are. I'm afraid of Rick Pitino, actually.
I'm not afraid. He just wants to win.
I'm going to say the nice things about him. Rick Pitino's a great coach. Can't wait to see him in Washington, D.C. tomorrow.
It's going to be great.
Should be fantastic. But for Houston this season, they've struggled against Ken Pom top 25 teams just a little bit. They're 2-6 this season against Ken Pom top 25 teams.
Yeah, they can't close.
And so Illinois is the 6th best team according to Ken Pom. It's going to be a handful. They have not beaten a top 25 Ken Pom team outside of the Big 12 conference tournament, which I take that with a little bit of a grain of salt. It's just a different type of atmosphere. Plus, they were playing on LED floors. That's just weird in and of itself. But going back to the regular season, the last time they beat a top 25 Ken Pom team came back on January 6th against Texas Tech, who was 20th at the time in Ken Pom.
So I would be curious to see if the 2 wins were on a neutral court and if the losses were on true road games. Because Big 12 road games are tough.
That's true. They had a 3-game losing streak. Houston did against Iowa State, Arizona, Kansas. 7th in Ken Pom, 2nd in Ken Pom, 21st in Ken Pom. Middle of February. Let's say that. 1 home game, 2 away games. And then their last win against Texas Tech against the top 25 Ken Pom team in the regular season was a home game on January 6th. So, but their 2 wins in the Big 12 conference tournament, of course, were neutral courts. And this is going to be a de facto home game for them. So that is in the favor of Houston. I've got Illinois winning this game, though. I think the athleticism is something that Houston hasn't necessarily been fully. I know they've played in the Big 12. I know they've played against Arizona, but there's just something about this Illinois team. Maybe it's the fact that it's a bunch of guys who have V's, I's, and C's all next to each other in their last name.
A bunch of Euros.
A lot of Eastern Europeans over there, but I think they've got what it takes. And Keaton Wagler is going to be a fun guy to watch here tonight. 10:05 p.m. tip against Houston.
Guard play, man. It's all about the guard play. Keep an eye on the guards of Houston. If they're hitting their 3-point shots consistently, I think they can run Illinois out of there.
And speaking of guard play, you know, I love Ben McCollum. You know, I love the guard play he's got going over there with Iowa. Nebraska, a 7:30 p.m. tip tonight in the Sweet 16. Man, Bennett Sturts. I've talked about him already a lot. I've talked about Ben McCollum a lot. You know my infatuation. I think UNC should go after him. I am very excited to watch this Iowa-Nebraska team. And Fred Hoiberg, he's got some good guard play of his own. Jamarcus Lawrence has been really, really solid. Fred Hoiberg's own son, Sam Hoiberg, he is a good distributor of the basketball. He's a small little guard, but he's effective when he's out there on the court. It's going to be a good-on-good matchup between the Hawkeyes and the Cornhuskers.
Yeah, no, that game actually has piqued my interest a little bit more.
Probably because I talk about it so much, about my love for Ben McCollum.
Well, I think as we get closer to this idea that McCollum could potentially be on UNC's radar, I want to see if he elevates his game as a coach, right? If we can see him be better, which is saying a lot because he's not a bad coach, but like, if that motivates him almost like he's auditioning now, right? Because this is a big opportunity for him. And I saw him have a funny quote about him saying that the struggle that he has right now is that people are doing things for him that he's used to having to do for himself all the time because he's been D2 for so long.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that, 2 years ago was in the Division II ranks. He just joined the Division I ranks a year ago in the Missouri Valley Conference with Drake. Got them to the second round. Now he's in the Big Ten. Now he's being floated for the UNC job.
Yeah. Life comes at you fast.
2 years ago, he was drawing up his own plays, probably booking his own travel at the Division II.
That's what he was saying.
With Northwest Missouri State. Now he's got a whole team to be like, Ben, what time do you want to fly out? We'll figure it out from there.
He said they used to get on the bus, and now he's like, they drive you up to the plane. Yeah. He was like, and the plane's got food.
Yeah. Division II, Division III, they're bussing everywhere.
It was great. I was waiting for him to say, we got it out the mud. It was just him being transparent. Iowa is a team that you look at how they got here. You look at their body of work, and you have to respect them as a team that belongs here at this point.
Yes.
Like, you can't look at them like some upstart story or especially with them being a non-seed. I think they're the highest seed of everybody still. Oh, no. Texas, yeah. So, yeah, even
we
Texas.
We all forget about Texas.
But Texas is the same way, right? Once you get to the Sweet 16, you got to respect the team for who they are, man. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter their ranking at this point. They belong.
They got to the Sweet 16. And it's an Iowa team that has history. I know the last 2 years of the Fran McCaffrey era were something to kind of forget. But there was a stretch there from 2019 to 2023. They made the NCAA tournament in each one of those years. They would have made it in 2020, of course, but it got COVID canceled. They made it to the second weekend in 2 of those years. Of course, one of those years they got upset by Richmond in the first round. That was a really fun game. But Iowa's a team that has been, like, as a cultural institution, they've been here before. They know the culture knows what it takes to win. All right, we'll be talking Sweet 16 throughout today's show. So if you have any thoughts whatsoever on the Sweet 16, we want to hear from you. We are wide open, no guests, just your calls, your texts, 804-327-0888. Plus, coming up in hour number 2, we're giving away some BCIC tickets. We've got 2 pairs of tickets to give away. That's coming up at around 9 a.m. The fun festivities begin today. The games begin tomorrow, and they go through Sunday down in Petersburg at the Multipurpose Center on the campus of Virginia State. We're giving away 2 pairs of BCIC tickets coming up in hour number 2. You do not want to miss it. More Fitz the Bill coming up next.
Henrico Sports and Entertainment Authority Executive Director Dennis Bickmeyer joins Bob Black for the Henrico Huddle, ESPN Richmond's newest monthly feature.
Weather reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at HermanAllenPlumbing.com.
Here's the tale of Tina, searching up and down for decent GLP-1s, but got spun around.
Till Good RX wrote in, hey, we got something new. GLP-1 prescriptions, all FDA approved.
Brand name meds, no flags that are red.
Clear pricing from the start. None of those hidden fees in your cart.
Delivered to your door or pick up same day. Darn tootin'.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
I put it to goodrx.com/weight loss. GoodRx is not insurance.
Jackson Hewitt has a great tax prep deal, $149 or less. Missing out is like ignoring the check engine light in your car. You'll regret it. Seriously, the price is only $149 or less, no matter how complicated. So don't wait. Like when you get a password expires today alert, or you're shopping online and there's only one item left. It's like your taxes are in the cart. Just complete the purchase. Hurry. This deal for $149 or less is like your phone at 1%. It's about to power down. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
This is advertising material.
When a doctor's mistake leaves you or someone you love seriously hurt, you need a fighter in your corner. Alexander Schnarr Trial Attorneys has been holding negligent doctors and hospitals accountable and getting families the justice they deserve. The consultation is free. They don't get paid until you do. Call 877-222-6666 or visit alexwins.law. Don't wait, alexwins.law.
This is advertising material. Past results do not guarantee future outcomes. Every case is different. Philip George is licensed attorney in Virginia, is responsible for legal work. Office is located in Norfolk.
Pet owners and parents know the struggle. Every time dogs or kids go outside, they track mud right back in. If you're tired of scrubbing floors, you need Muddy Mat, the anti-mud mat that cleans paws and shoes before they ruin your home. Only Muddy Mat features thousands of ultra-soft microfibers that are 5 times more absorbent than ordinary mats, instantly trapping dirt and water to protect your floors. Put it by every door, under pet bowls, in the kitchen for spills. It even makes a perfect bath mat. And it's 100% machine washable, so cleanup is effortless.
Since getting Muddy Mat, I don't worry about what my dog gets into. His paws are clean the second he steps off.
No more mopping. I love it. Thank you, Muddy Mat.
Right now, get a free medium Muddy Mat of $50 savings with your order of 2 or more mats at buymuddymat.com. This offer is only available at buymuddymat.com. That's BUYMUDDMAT.com. Don't wait. Get your free Muddy Mat today at buymuddymat.com.
106.1 ESPN Traffic.
A tractor-trailer accident has all lanes blocked off heading north on 95 between Ashland, Hanover, and Case Dominion Boulevard, causing traffic to be completely stopped from Lewistown Road. Taking a look at 64 westbound, you can expect some delays between Mechanicsville Turnpike and 95. And we're seeing some backup heading north on Chippenham Parkway between Powhite Parkway and Custis Road.
106.1 ESPN in your pockets. Download the app for on-demand shows, live updates, podcasts, and sports takes hotter than a game-winning drive. Your team, your way. Get it now.
Waiting for the break of day. Searching for something to say.
Trying to put it together what this bumper could possibly mean, but I have a feeling this is one of the times I'm trying to create a connection that just isn't there, and we're just listening to a good song.
Yeah, just a song to get people moving this morning.
Yeah, it's a Thursday. Man, I'm going to need that tomorrow with these games tipping off at 10:05 p.m. Not to sound like the OW.
You'll have adrenaline layover, man.
That's true. I'll wake up and I'll still be riding the high of Illinois taking down Houston to punch its ticket to the Elite Eight. What a perfect time for you to choke on your tea. Look, man, tell me how you really feel.
You haven't lived until you wake up and Charm's playing on your like TNT or TBS, wherever you're watching.
True TV.
Yeah, True
Why
TV.
am I watching Impractical Jokers still?
Yeah, like seriously, you haven't lived until you wake up and see that. It's like, what did I miss?
That's true. That is true. Before we dive too far into the Sweet 16, though, I do want to touch on something that has been a hot topic, and it's going to continue being a hot topic with the UNC job opening, Allen, the NC State job potentially becoming open. We'll talk about that a little bit more with the Will Wade LSU saga that has gripped the college basketball world by storm.
Are you telling me Will Wade may have lied to us?
I, for one, am shocked. What a crazy...
Will Wade would never lie to my face.
Will Wade would never take pictures replicating the famous Jim Valvano photography.
I'm not going to lie. I thought that was Photoshop. That really happened.
Yeah, that really happened. God. He really staged pictures like to mimic the Valvano photo shoot. And then within a year, actually less than a year.
Yeah, less than a year.
Now you wonder why. People are like, why did Amir Khan not transfer to NC State with Will Wade? Amir Khan didn't want to be that's the swag guy for McNeese State, guy who brings out the boombox. He didn't want to be caught up in all this. Yeah, he didn't want his name connected with that.
He saw the future. He knows where he's meant to be.
But we're going to have a lot of conversations around coaches, around NIL, around budgets. It's going to be kind of, what's the word? Annoying over the next couple of weeks. And it's already started a little bit. We've heard Mick Cronin crying poor. We've heard other schools asking for more money. We heard Kelvin Sampson earlier this week talk about it, saying how the Cougars are operating with the lowest budget in terms of NIL in the Power Four. This was Kelvin Sampson earlier this week talking about how he needs more money and how the Houston Cougars need more of an NIL budget to remain competitive in the Power Four and the Big 12.
We have a very poor athletic department. We're poor. We're poor when I got here, and we're still poor. We probably have the lowest budget of anybody in Power Four, and the way our recruiting is going, we have to stop at some point because we don't have enough money to keep bringing in really good players. And that's not easy for us to do.
Alan, I'm getting tired of this. And I know Kelvin Sampson, he's a very good coach. I understand it. I get it. But look, here's a couple of things I take issue with. For one, Houston's fiscal year 2025 filing has them at a $14.6 million operating budget. Now, operating budget, very different from what the NIL budget is. He's likely talking about the NIL budget, but he just uses the B word here. He just says budget. And that's wrong because that $14.6 million operating budget for men's basketball is right up there with the Ohio States and the Michigans of the world. His payroll could be a lot less. But then it kind of grinds my gears a bit more, the fact that he's out here saying, we've been poor since I got here. He got there in 2015. He's been in Houston since 2015, over a decade. And one of the primary responsibilities of a coach, both in today's day and age and in the old way of college basketball that we all knew and loved back in 2019, right? What was one of the main goals of that? It was to fundraise. It was for you to get out there and shake some hands, kiss some babies, get some money for your program. Kelvin Sampson, you have been there for 11 years. You're telling me you haven't been able to do that to raise up enough cachet. Jim Nance, for goodness sake, is one of your famous alumni. You're telling me you can't shake him down for a little bit of extra money? I know
Jim Nance is 1,000% a Houston supporter. I don't even think you have to shake.
I just feel like Houston's got a big enough alumni base with some big enough people. Hakeem, you're in Texas too. You could just go to an oil guy and be like, hey, do you want to be like the main supporter of Houston athletics? And you would get them on board pretty quickly. Feels like Kelvin Sampson is just doing what's now in vogue, which is what Mick Cronin is doing. It's what countless other coaches are doing. And it's trying to lessen the blow of when their team does eventually get bad, if that ever happens. Because in today's day and age of college basketball, right, every single year, you're essentially creating this mercenary squad. Now, you do have some holdovers, especially when you're at the P4 level, but you're bringing in a ton of transfers. You're hoping those transfers hit. So every year it's a little volatile. Every year could be great. Every year could kind of go up in flames if you brought in the wrong transfer, if something doesn't fit, if injuries don't go your way and all of a sudden your depth is being tested. I think a lot of these coaches are getting out in front of it and trying to be like, I needed more money, I told you guys, and trying to proactively save their job for whenever they end up having that one down year.
Yeah, if the operating cost is high, well, actually, I would say based on the numbers I've seen, it's high, but not high enough when you talk about elite programs. Is operating at the cost of like a good program, which honestly, I can see that being sufficient for Houston. I think they've overachieved to some extent, and what he's asking for is support to continue to overachieve. Is what I'm gathering from his request. But like you were saying, divvy it up better. Like, I mean, you got the funds to add more to NIL if you want to. You have the opportunity, right? Houston's a big market. It's not a small market team. It's not like you're in Blacksburg or something like that.
You're not in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
Like Alabama's figuring it out in Alabama.
Yeah. So
Ole Miss is figuring it out in Mississippi. No offense to Mississippi. If we have any Mississippi people listening in, I apologize. But that's the poorest state in the country.
Yeah.
And yet they're competitive in football and basketball.
Yeah. So I just think he's pulling a Rick Pitino. Rick did that when he first got to St. John, but it wasn't about NIL at that point. It was about the facilities. But it was a domino effect, right? Because he got the money pretty quickly. They got the facilities. They clearly have the budget to maintain a certain level of play, and they've won with it. He's winning, and he's like, yo, I should be getting more money now, right? Like, look at what we're doing. I need some help.
Yeah, I mean, and Houston has vastly overachieved since joining the Big 12, right? Like, you look at the other teams that jumped from the American Athletic Conference to the Big 12 when that whole realignment happened a couple of years ago, and they've been kind of in the middle, if not at the tail end of the Big 12 in Cincinnati and UCF. I mean, heck, Cincinnati just fired their coach, Wes Miller, or I guess they didn't bill it as a firing. They billed it as like a mutual parting of ways, where they came together and they agreed to break up. You know, no, that you don't ever believe that. You don't agree to a breakup.
It's never mutual.
There's a breaker upper and there's a breaky uppy. Wes Miller, I think, was the breaky
Somebody's
uppy.
the victim.
Although Wes Miller now has landed down in Charlotte, and seems like Charlotte is going to have a newly invested life into their college basketball program down there. But that's besides the point. Something else that grinds my gears with this, and it's so funny to me when coaches are like, man, these players are costing too much money. To get a role player now, we've got to fork over $1 million. And I'm just sitting back. I have my arms crossed, right? And I'm just like, who's to blame for this? You are to blame for that. Like, you, the coaches, are the one that's overpaying all of these players, thus jacking up the market rate. I saw a report that it was, I think it was from Front Office Sports. I apologize if I'm misattributing it, but they said that that the transfer portal has an expectation that players are going to cost 35% more than they did last year on average to get them out of the portal to come to your program for these higher end players. And coaches are like, this is unacceptable. Why is this costing so much money? Because you're the ones just throwing around money and you haven't been good with your budget.
Yeah.
And now they're trying to point the fingers at their administration, at their donors for not giving them enough money. But it's like, no. You're the one that doesn't know how to budget properly with your money. And I will die on this hill. There are D2, D3, JUCO, NAIA, NCCAA players across this nation and probably in places you haven't even thought of that are willing to play for pennies on the dollar just to get their opportunity at a D1 school who has the ability to play at a D1 school, but you just don't want to recruit them. You just want to have the easy way out and go pay $1 million for the D1 role player that you're getting from a mid-major and so on and so forth. You're the ones paying way above market rate, blowing through your budget within the first wave of the transfer portal. And now you're the ones crying poor, even though it's your fault, the coaches and your peers' fault for spending $1.5 million on a bench role player, setting the floor absurdly high. I get it's the Wild West, but it's just so funny to me that these coaches are crying poor about the problems they literally created, and they are the ones that continue to create.
Yeah, thought it was a free market, so I don't have to pay you what you're asking for.
Like,
and you don't have to accept what I'm offering.
And look, maybe I'm saying an intrusive thought here, so take this with a grain of salt, right? But like, you don't have a CBA. There's nothing going on. You can collude to be like, hey guys, we aren't paying. Like, you could come together as like a power conference and be like, hey, to try and drive the market down a little bit, no one spend more than $2 million on a player.
You gatekeep your schedule. Why not gatekeep that?
I'm actually shocked there isn't more gatekeeping, but then again, winning is the thing that everyone wants to do. So I imagine there would be one team out there that'd be like, yeah, we totally agree to that. And then go behind like 5 million, 5 million, 5.
Yeah, for the SEC,
yeah,
it's definitely. I mean, they're offering everybody like $7 million.
And then when they're asked about it, they're like, some guy in his basement's tweeting about that in his underwear in his mom's basement. It's like, actually, it was a player who said it. So Mark Pope, you can get off your high horse there.
It's actually been confirmed twice by players.
What a team Kentucky is.
There's always one that can't be patient and follow the rules.
Yep, that's darn right. There is a long list of those, but always so funny to me that these coaches out here crying poor. But I will say, Houston, they've done a lot more with what Kelvin Sampson's saying is less. So good for them. They've got Illinois tonight. All right, let's go on out to the phone lines. We've got Reggie on line one. Good morning, Reggie. How are we doing?
Hey, gentlemen. Good morning. Always a great job. Yeah, last night was the sequel to the Michael Vick experience on BET. And I tell you, I got respect for the brother. Didn't win any D1 games. Of course, he beat Virginia State, but when you're a D1 program and you go 0-9, really didn't do anything. But the vulnerability he showed was amazing. I mean, even showed him crying after the Howard game. And I must say, he got a wake-up call, but I was really sad that didn't show Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson was one game away from going to the to the HBCU.
Now that would have been crazy, right? If you end up in the CIAA.
Yeah, really. Look, I love to see the oldest conference in the HBCU history. Man, I always had it on my brain, so you have to forgive me. I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old, 67 years old. What can I say? But y'all thoughts on Michael Vick being in the Hall of Fame, College Hall of Fame, but also, is Michael Vick a Hall of Famer? And do you think he'll ever get consideration for the NFL Hall of Fame?
I don't think he's ever an NFL Hall of Famer. I think he had a huge impact on the game, but I just don't think he has the stats to kind of back up a Hall of Fame candidacy. And unfortunately, look, we saw it with Bill Belichick. Off the field stuff matters, and however you want to kind of dive into the issues he had off the field, those are things that I think voters would bring to the table. But with what he's doing in Norfolk State, I want to turn that question back on you, Reggie. Do you think he has the chops to be competitive in year two now that he's kind of gotten his lick, or he's taken some licks, I should say? Do you think he has the coaching chops to try and bounce back next year?
Yeah, I think he do. I don't know if it'll be a winning season, but I think he'll have more wins. I think the biggest problem he had was he hired his friend.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of times when you mix business and friendship, it's never going to work. I'm just going to tell you straight up, being in the HBCU, those coaches wear 20 hats, where D1 or PW school, the coach only wear 10 because of the staff. And just face it, Norfolk State doesn't have the finance that, James Madison.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because Bob would tell you, if you look at the staffs of A&T, Hampton, and other schools, they can't compare with a Richmond, James Madison, or others, just because the donors step up and do their job, just like we were talking about the University of Richmond. And I really enjoyed the conversation with the callers. And Richmond, to this day, still surprises me that they're lacking the resources in basketball, when VCU is just taking a yardstick and getting them old-fashioned, putting them Huggies down and spanking them boys across the street. I don't understand where Richmond falls short with all the old money over the generations of wealth. And VCU, inner city, urban, and whatever the other people want to classify, can just stand up and get millions and millions of free advertising dollars over the years. It just amazes me how they step up where Richmond falls short.
You know, I've always like, it is interesting, right? That VCU has had so many different coaching changes. It's something we talk about all the time, but they've had so many different coaching changes, but they've solidified what their culture is, and it has gone through coaching change to coaching change. They're a consistent NCAA tournament team. They're an A-10 contender each and every year. They were a CAA contender each and every year. And then for Richmond, they've had the taste of success. They've made it to the NCAA tournament a couple of times, but it just seems like they haven't been able to lay down the cultural foundation that's needed to be a consistent A-10 winner. I would love, maybe this is an off-season project for myself that I'm just speaking into existence here, but if they would give the access to try and do almost like a compare and contrast and try to really find the root of the issue for both schools and really just do a compare and contrast between the two different schools and how they have found their way into their respective places.
You know, it's amazing because every time when VCU did a coaching change in the past, you had some callers calling, well, I don't know what this coach is doing. Then 1 or 2 years later, that coach has a better job and move on.
Well, Reggie, I mean, earlier this year when Phil Martelli was going through that little skid, right? They lost to Mason, they lost to St. Louis back to back. We were getting texts in. People were questioning the offensive sets. They were questioning Martelli, which is fair, right? Like fan is short for fanatic. You are a crazy person. So I get it. I do the same when it comes to my Seahawks or my JMU Dukes, right? But as a guy kind of...
Is that the national champion, the world champion Seahawks?
Dang right it is. Dang right it is.
Say it with your chest, son.
But like, it's just so funny that VCU fans were 2 months ago being like, man, is this guy over his head? I don't know if he's got what it takes to compete with the top of the A-10. Did they make a mistake in this hire? And now all of a sudden they're like, wow, this is the greatest first-year coaching display that we've ever seen in the history of VCU. It's just, and I love it, right? Because fan is short for fanatic. You want to be fanatical about your team, and VCU fans certainly are.
Well, I want to say in closing, a shout out to Richmond Public Schools, the Richmond Scrubs, and Metropolitan Baseball Little League for bringing baseball to the elementary school in the Richmond City. Bill Foster, Michael Crum, and Bugsy the Squirrel, and other people have stepped up. And hopefully this eliminates some of the tension that's on the city school level. And people can come together and watch these young kids play in the elementary level. Hopefully it help their endeavors when it comes to middle school and high school baseball. So that was monumental. Baseball is a revenue drainer. Even at HBCUs and MEACs, schools have cut back because they couldn't afford the equipment and playing baseball. You have to have a ton of money to put into resources. A lot of times you put the resource in, but there's no share revenue coming back.
Yeah, it's great to see that. I even saw Varina has their JV team back for the first time in baseball. So nice to see kind of all of that grow in the game as well throughout Richmond. But appreciate you calling in, Reggie. Have a great rest of your Thursday. We'll always love catching up.
Take care, my friend.
Of course. There goes Reggie. Appreciate him calling in. We're going to get a break in here. Step aside. Then we got some news or snooze coming up on Fitz the Bill.
This is advertising material.
A drunk driver changed your life in an instant. Now what? The pain, the bills, the recovery that never feels fast enough. You didn't ask for this, but you don't have to face it alone. Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys fight for drunk driving victims and get results. Call now, 877-222-6666, or visit alexwins.law. Don't wait, alexwins.law.
This is advertising material. Past results do not guarantee future outcomes. Every case is different. Philip George is licensed attorney in Virginia, is responsible for legal work. Office is located in Norfolk.
Weather reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
The Rich Eisen Show. You were asking about his wine choices?
The wine choices, yeah.
And how expensive
I
they
need
are?
you to break that
apparently, we have a sommelier on line one.
There we go.
Austin in Napa Valley.
This menu is just over the top and super, super decadent. He's clearly an enophile and certainly fighting back against the Irish culinary reputation. And also, this is probably close to a $100,000 meal.
That's what I was going to ask you.
The Rich Eisen Show from noon to 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN Plus, and on Disney Plus.
Amber and Ian.
According to Draymond Green, there ain't much talent. You can't field another NBA or two. The percentage of people that have played basketball in their life that end up NBA players, it's such an unbelievably small percentage that I have a very hard time believing that we can't find another 30 more.
Amber and Ian. Weeknights at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on SiriusXM Channel 80.
106.1 ESPN weather.
Warmer temperatures are expected today. We're seeing mostly sunny skies with highs in the 50s throughout the morning. And this afternoon, temperatures will be rising to a high of 81. Partly cloudy skies tonight with lows dropping back down to 64.
Game on, Richmond. Crank up 106.1 ESPN for live play-by-play, blistering hot takes, and nonstop action. Your ticket to the hype. Stay dialed in. News.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Or snooze.
All right, news or snooze. As I, for some reason, forgot I'm the one that's supposed to be doing this. I was expecting you to say something, Jack. News or snooze today. Let's see. NBA owners vote to explore Vegas, Seattle expansion bid.
This is newsworthy.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Now, I know what you're probably thinking, right? Didn't we already go through this whole thing
That's
just
exactly
a couple of
what
weeks
I was
ago?
thinking.
Technically, no. Technically, they said they would explore the fact of expansion, and now they are definitively putting two cities to that expansion talk, being Seattle and Vegas. So this is the necessary first step in it. All 30 owners voted in favor of exploring Vegas and Seattle expansion. Sources told ESPN a bidding process is expected to generate offers anywhere between $7 to $10 billion for each team. This is building off of last week's report that the NBA is targeting 2028-29 for the two expansion franchises to begin playing. And that was what the report, they want to bring in two expansion teams. The expectation is that it would be Seattle and Vegas. The NBA owners have now voted on Vegas and Seattle being the two spots for expansion.
I know, random, but two things I love to see return to the NBA, the Seattle Supersonics and the D Brown pumps with the basketball, like the shoes. Oh man, I would love for those.
D Brown pumps.
Yeah, I call them D Brown pumps, but
I don't know if
obviously
I know
you don't know anything
what
about
the
that.
D Brown pumps
Just
are.
look for D Brown. The shoes, his basketball. I think it was Reebok, but it was a basketball shoe, and he would pump the shoe.
What?
Then, yeah.
Was this in the 90s?
Yes,
man.
Obviously from the 90s.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, okay, all right. This is interesting. I don't love these shoes.
Obviously, I don't think they would fit in today's era. I just want to see it come back nostalgic.
I was about to say something really rude about these
and
shoes.
the third is the Vancouver Grizzlies.
Yeah, they had the best logo.
I like the logo in the jersey.
Yeah.
I love when they do the throwbacks. But anyway, yeah, love to see the Seattle thing. I think we're going to oversaturate Vegas. I mean,
I think we already are. We got the Aces, we got the Raiders, we've got the Golden Knights.
We don't have the Athletics. That's still in the limbo somehow.
In theory, they're going to get the Athletics too. But like, I think you brought it up the last time we talked about it. Vegas isn't sure, people live in Vegas, right? But like, it just feels like such a destination more so than these other cities where you don't really have a home field advantage because almost everyone that fills out the stadium is visiting to see their team and then go gamble to try and win back the money they spent on the tickets. Like, feels like Vegas is getting very oversaturated. But with that being said, right, the Golden Knights are good, and
Golden Knights is awesome.
But like, I don't know if they can hold a 5 professional franchises in one city.
It's asking a lot. And they also had the race there. Was it F1?
They get the F1 race every year.
Yeah. I just think
and the F1 race there kind of is a failure. Every year I read reports about how it's just not doing what they expected it to do.
And I feel like at some point you're going to run out of space. Vegas isn't but so big.
Exactly.
Anyway, Otzelberger dismisses UNC links. Arizona's Lloyd brushes off UNC job speculation as well.
Newsworthy.
Read all about it.
So just to recap here, Alan, Brad Stevens, not a shock.
Yeah.
But Brad Stevens said no. Now, TJ Otzelberger has said no, and Tommy Lloyd is brushing off the job speculation as well. So
I'm not listening to that.
Take some of it with a grain of salt, but publicly, these two coaches that have been pretty heavily linked to the UNC opening are brushing it off.
They could get TJ if they want TJ.
I don't know if they could. If you look at TJ Otzelberger's coaching history, he's been an Iowa State coach through and through. He is a guy that lives and breathes. I don't know what their color is technically called. Maroon and gold. Is that what they are? But he began his coaching career at Burlington Catholic Central, then was an assistant at Chippewa College, which I believe is in Florida. Then he went to Iowa State. He was at Iowa State from 2006 to 2013, left for a brief stint, joined back in 2015, 2016, was the head coach at South Dakota State, UNLV, and has been back at Iowa State since 2021. So off and on, he's been at Iowa State since 2006.
Yeah, off and on. He can get off again. I don't buy him or Lloyd, honestly.
I don't buy Lloyd, but I buy Otzelberger. I buy Otzelberger. Tommy Lloyd, I think he's just doing what he has to do and brushing it off. But Tommy Lloyd also comes from the Mark Few tree. Granted, Gonzaga is a private institution, so we never really truly know how much money Mark Few's making. I imagine Gonzaga has a Brinks truck just always next to Mark Few for him.
Now, Mark does live a simple life. It has been well documented. Like, he enjoys the
so simple that he has to drive himself. He refuses to use Uber too soon.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to be bothered.
Doesn't want to be bothered to download the Lyft or Uber app.
Yeah, that's true too.
But I do think it's newsworthy that these coaches are coming out and saying no. I brought it up yesterday. I'm going to float it here again. UNC, they've got to be careful in this coaching search. You don't want to become the Penn State of college basketball. Penn State, they fire James Franklin. They think they're going to be first in line to get all of these great coaches. Everyone's going to be lining up to be a Penn State head coach. And then what happens? Everyone gets an extension. Everyone gets a raise. Penn State, they got Kurt Signetti paid. They got Kalen DeBoer paid. They got Kenny Dillingham paid. What other coaches ended up signing extensions because they were even just the BYU coach got paid because of it. Like, UNC's got to be careful about that. So already, just based off of what's being said, you can dive deeper into that. But what's based off of being said, 3 of their top targets have said no.
All right. LSU reportedly vying to swipe Will Wade from NC State after 1 season in Raleigh.
Newsworthy. Reminder. I do want everyone to know what Will Wade said last week after the first 4 loss.
It was last week after the first 4 loss?
Last week after the first 4 loss, he was asked directly about this. So this has been simmering under the surface for at least a week and a half, maybe even 2 weeks, something that has found its way first into the conspiracy theory realm, and now it's being more and more valid. Will Wade was not a fan of the question that was asked after the first 4 loss.
There's just a lot of talk with you and potential position at LSU. Just wanted to see if anybody from that campus reached out to you and just give you an opportunity to speak on that.
No, is the job open there? Huh? No? So why would I'm not, listen, to be very clear. I'm excited at NC State. I was hired at NC State to do a job. This wasn't going to take 1 year. I've already met with our administration about next year and some of the changes that we need to make and some of the things that we need to do to put this program where it deserves long term. So I'm not I'm not on social media. I'm not into gossip. I'm not into any of that sort of stuff. But look, we're going to win, and we're going to win big at NC State, and that's what we're going to do.
Notice how he said he's met with the NC State administration. Didn't say that he's also met with the LSU administration. I mean, 2 things can be true at once, right? It's been a crazy week down in Raleigh. R. Corey Smith of Pack Power, which is the 247 site covering NC State, he said, quote, "The push from LSU to land Wade has reached a different level, and all signs point to him taking the position in Baton Rouge." CBS Sports' John Rothstein, he said that LSU is working to hire McNeese's Heath Schroyer as a senior administrator, which is very important because Schroyer and LSU president Wade Roos previously hired Will Wade at McNeese. Rothstein went on to say they are on the verge of bringing him, Wade in this case, back to Baton Rouge.
All right. So do we have time for me to, there's 2 ways I can go about this. And I've been thinking about this. I could pile on the Will Wade and say, I told you so. But I think most of us know how he is and who he is. Or I can also go in the direction of, I am so sick and tired of people giving coaches excuses to do crap that if it was a player, oh, it's the Wild Wild West. This is what's wrong with the sport.
Preach.
If the coach can do it,
Preach.
look at this. This man just signed with this team. He ain't been there a season, and he's even got the option to explore going to LSU, and LSU has a freaking coach.
And yet we want to demonize players for doing the same exact thing.
It's not even a position open at LSU, but LSU is willing to create a position, clearly.
They're willing to fire their sitting coach to bring Will Wade, who got them in so much trouble that they have not had an inch of success since that. And it put Will Wade on a show cause and a 10-game suspension. They're okay with bringing him back.
But a player can't go, well, I could get $2 more million at this spot. Like, he's got to stay and be loyal. But coaches can do, and it's Will Wade's definitely pushing the envelope here. Lane Kiffin also pushed the envelope a little bit with how he left.
Fitting that they're both at LSU now.
Business-wise. Oh, my God. Mulkey, Kiffin, Wade.
That would be a horrible, you-know-what rotation.
Thank God it's NIL era, because compliance would be just the compliance couldn't handle that.
That's probably why LSU's just like over here, we'll bring him back, because they're like, Will Wade, he got in trouble for being just a really good recruiter in today's day and age.
They're collecting the infinity stones of coaching. Now they need is the coach from Alabama, the baseball coach that had the scandal with the gambling.
My goodness. That's still illegal, so they won't touch that one yet. That's still illegal.
Is there any legality in Louisiana, man, when it comes to college athletics? I feel like you can get away with it.
You know what the legality is in Louisiana? Win.
Yeah, you gotta win. But it's just not fair. And we knew that. This is the double standard that's glaring in our face right now. And even as we speak, there hasn't been one headline really condemning this idea. The outrage comes from the fans. It doesn't come from the media. And it's crazy to me.
Well, I think the media right now is just reporting on it as like, this is what's happening. We're giving you the updates. I imagine when it does happen,
it's gonna happen.
We'll get the columns and the opinion articles coming out condemning LSU for this. But right now, I get why the media themselves,
you can still call it for what it is. The fact that it's even on the table, that the young lady who asked the question, I'll be transparent. I was sitting in the front row. When I heard the question, I laughed. I thought she was crazy. I texted you and said, dude, somebody asked Will Wade about the LSU job. And we laughed. We thought it was hilarious. Like, why would they do that? Like, look at what happened to him at LSU. Have you not seen the documentary? Why would they bring him
back? But then it's a whole new administration, and the administration is apparently a bunch of guys who hired him at McNeese.
What's the music? Dun, dun, dun. Here he is.
And we got a text in. Remember Roy Williams saying he didn't give a bleep about the UNC job after losing to Syracuse in 2003? And what do we think about Roy Williams?
Exactly.
Oh, he's this great coach. Oh, he's this Hall of Famer, which is all fair. But the hypocrisy in college sports is something to behold.
Yeah. A coach telling me he's not interested does nothing to me. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I'm not interested. Not right now. Like, and that's why earlier when we were talking about Tommy Lloyd and TJ Otzelberger, I actually buy because of his connections to Iowa State. But like Tommy Lloyd brushing off the UNC speculation is just part of the gig. You just have to do that. Although you see Josh Schertz the other day, St. Louis's head coach, get asked about all this. He wasn't asked specifically about UNC, but I think it was a question along the lines of like, oh, with all of the coaching changes that happen every year, how do you kind of handle it as someone who gets linked to a lot of them? And his answer was just not very good. He was like, I'm kind of danged if I do, danged if I don't in how I answer this question, right? Because if I say I'm 100% here and then things change in the next day and I leave, I end up being a liar. And it's like, that's probably the one way you don't want to answer that question, Josh.
That makes me very confident that you're here to stay.
That makes me confident that you're gone. And another coach that doesn't get enough crap for how he handles these situations is Brian Hodgson, the head coach at Providence. Did you see he was the head coach at South Florida for less than a year? He was at Arkansas State prior to that. He was a Nate Oates disciple. He was on Nate Oates' staff. I mean, the dude is a really good coach, and he's had a meteoric rise up through the coaching ranks, now finding his way to the Big East. But the way he has left every spot has just made every single fan at his prior spots extremely mad, because it always lines up the week before he takes a job. He goes on some podcast and he goes, there's no place I'd rather be. This is the best place to be. I would never dream of leaving this place. Did it at Arkansas State, he left the next week. Did it at South Florida, he left the next week. He doesn't get enough crap.
Yeah, the texter said lying Odom. I don't recall the hoopla around Odom and UVA.
I thought it was pretty well known that
I thought it was pretty well known too, and it was a sentimental position as well, given his ties and his dad's ties to the university. I don't think there was anything we as in VCU could have done to ever prevent him from going to UVA if it was offered to him.
I also, if I remember correctly, when he was asked about potentially leaving or the UVA job directly, he always gave non-answers.
Yeah, I didn't think he denied or confirmed it, but I also
it was just my focus is on the A-10 tournament. My focus is on the NCAA
and I also
tournament.
am bitter about that because it was not on those two things.
Yeah, you could argue, but
it was the worst I've ever seen his VCU teams play.
Look, honestly. I'll say this: coming out of that whole Ryan Odom era, I think VCU is better off for it,
and so is
and
he.
I think UVA is better off for it. I think it is one of the rare times that maybe this texter is super mad at Odom, calling him lying Odom. I love this texter.
Relax.
I love this texter. So he also said horrible sports coats. Who has horrible sports coats?
Roy Williams.
Oh,
I knew exactly what that meant.
But with lying Odom, VCU's better off. I think Martelli fits VCU a little bit better than Ryan Odom does. And Ryan Odom, he got what he wanted out of VCU, an NCAA tournament appearance and a job at a Power 4 conference.
I just don't understand why we couldn't get what's the guard from Miami that he has on the team, but the ball head, the one that missed the 3-pointer.
Jakari White?
Yeah, Jakari White. Why couldn't we get him at VCU? He's such a VCU player, man. I was like, where was that at when Odom was there?
Such a VCU player that he airballed that 3.
Yeah, that wouldn't have happened at VCU. That would have went in. We have magic.
Yeah, that's true. Siegel Center, it just pulls the ball into the hoop.
Wouldn't have happened. That's not how our stories end.
You're not wrong. I mean, Terrence Hill, that step back 3 in overtime to ice the game. He took that step back. I don't know if I told this story on air or not. He took that step back. I'm watching the game at Parlay, right? And I go to my friend, no, Terrence, stop it. Yeah, he hit it.
That's the way it goes, man.
Sometimes the right shot is the dumb shot, and the dumb shot's the right shot. And Terrence Hill exemplified that.
Good if it goes in.
Only good if it goes in. All right, coming up in hour number 2, some more Sweet 16 talk. MLB opening day is, or I guess we should call it opening day 2.0 because we got the Yankees beating the Giants yesterday on opening day 1.0 on Netflix. But if a tree falls in the forest, but no one's around to watch it, did opening day actually happen? I'm kidding. Netflix was they put together a good enough broadcast for their first ever one. We'll talk about that and the rest of MLB opening day in hour number 2. Plus, to kick off hour number 2, we're giving away some BCIC tickets down in Petersburg this weekend. So keep it locked right here on Fitz the Bill to listen in to how you can win to 2 pairs of some BCIC tickets this weekend down in Petersburg.
Ready to free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business empowers leaders with smart business buying tools, leaving time to focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future at AmazonBusiness.com.
Even if you've given up on your New Year's resolutions, one health habit that's easy to keep is Active Liver from New Nordic. Active Liver protects your liver so you can enjoy life to the fullest. Online at Amazon, in stores at CVS, Walgreens, and now GNC.
Jackson Hewitt has a great tax prep deal, $149 or less. Missing out is like ignoring the check engine light in your car. You'll regret it. Seriously, the price is only $149 or less, no matter how complicated. So don't wait. Like when you get a password expires today alert or you're shopping online and there's only one item left. It's like your taxes are in the cart. Just complete the purchase. Hurry! This deal for $149 or less is like your phone at 1%. It's about to power down. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
WorkZone is the one-stop shop for the hardworking man and woman. When it comes to the biggest selection, WorkZone has it. Over 15 brands of boots and all toe types. Even boots for the ladies. WorkZone has jackets in stock for all seasons, from cold weather to lightweight. See why WorkZone will be your first and only stop for the best brands and comfort and workwear. And a gift card from WorkZone is always the perfect gift. Visit WorkZone on Temple Avenue, next to the Ford dealership. WorkZoneVA.com and check them out on Instagram and Facebook.
Hey golfers, spring is just around the corner and that means it's time to head over to Queenfield Golf Club.
Queenfield is a beautifully secluded 18-hole course just a few minutes east of Mechanicsville that offers a spacious driving range, practice greens and bunkers, and professionally maintained golf course. Take the afternoon off or schedule your tee time today by calling 804-769-8838 or reserve your spot online at queenfieldgolf.com and make Queenfield Golf Club your new favorite golf course.
Your home for Richmond Spiders athletics all year round. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURV HD2 Richmond. We are 1061 ESPN.
The second hour of Fitz the Bill is brought to you by Birdie Golf. Tired of paying premium prices for big-name golf balls that overpromise and underdeliver? Step up your game with Birdie Golf. Learn more about a local company at birdiegolf.com. Change out the I's for ones, and you're there. That's B1RD1E golf.com. Birdie Golf.
You're listening to the second hour of Fitz the Bill on 1061 ESPN.
Welcome in. Hour number 2 of Fitz the Bill, rolling right along here on this Thursday, March 26th morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, Alan alongside. We're streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. If you want to watch the stream, just type in ESPN Richmond. We'll pop right on up and you can watch the stream live. You can listen to it on ESPNRichmond.com, the ESPN Richmond app, and of course, 1061 on your dial. And we'd love to hear from you here in hour number 2. 804-327-0888. The Radkey Insurance phone line is open. You can also head on over to radkeyinsurance.com to get started on your free quote today. We're starting hour number 2 off with Dolphin Dave out there on line 1. Good morning. Happy Thursday, Dolphin Dave. How we doing?
Gentlemen, while you are sweating there today and under the hot glare lights of the studio, just to let you know, for the first time this year, after all the ice, I'm actually getting ready to go out and play a golf game. And I'm very excited about that. And while you are working, I will think about you while you're working. And while I'm having an ice-cold beer on the course,
Yes.
I'll also think about you there.
Enjoy one for me.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, guys, real quick, there's something I thought, and I know I'm not new to this one, but I don't know of a state that's got 2 colleges that both think that when they get their coaches, they're temporary coaches because they're going to go bigger soon. And one is VCU, all right? If they play well and they're good, their coach is out there in 3 years. And you think you, as a fan base, you're thinking, hey, it's great we got this guy.
Yeah.
But he's not going to last more than 3 years. And the other one is JMU in football.
Yeah.
Okay, same thing. All right. It seems like those 2 programs are a major stepping stone in this country to go to bigger and better. And it's a nice help off. They get a nice paycheck, but they're working toward the next paycheck, which everybody else does. But it seems like they have more success doing that.
1,000%. And it is funny because I think so many fans, both for VCU men's basketball and JMU football, think stepping stone is this dirty word and you don't want to be a stepping stone. I think VCU and JMU too, I think they have fully turned into it from an administration level, understanding where they are in the pecking order of the college sports world. For VCU men's basketball, they understand we can hire really the hottest young coach out there. We'll keep them for 2 to 5 years, give or take, depending on the situation. And then they're going to be off to a bigger and better thing. They're going to get a big paycheck, and that's going to be great for us because they're going to bring us a lot of success. It's going to be great for them as well because we can probably give them a little bit of a quote-unquote hometown discount where they may be willing to take a little bit less money per year if that means later on down the road they'll cash in with the big payday. JMU football has done the same, and I can't think of another state it's a very interesting kind of twist on this question, Dolphin Dave. I like it. Another state with two programs that are a stepping stone in the way that men's basketball is for VCU and football is for JMU.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing looking at the people, like, look at Signetti.
Yeah.
And didn't the last coach from JMU actually last 1 year go to UCLA? Am I wrong on that?
Chesney was there for 2 years, went to UCLA. Signetti was there for 5 years, went to Indiana. Mike Houston, prior to that, back in the FCS days, he was there for 2 or 3 years, ended up going to East Carolina in the American Athletic Conference, and even going way, way back to when I was first at JMU with Everett Withers. Everett Withers was there for 2 years, ended up going FBS to Texas State. Now, he crashed and burned in San Marcos, Texas with Texas State. But you look at the last, what is that, 4 hires. Each one has gone on to a bigger and better school, and the same exact thing can be said with VCU.
Yep. I mean, kudos to them guys, because they keep the good guys in. And so my prediction is if VCU wins the A-10, which I think they will, and then if they go at, let's say, Sweet 16 in the tournament, I think you're going to see your next coach apart. Someone's going to go after him. I'm just saying.
The way these dominoes are falling this offseason, Dolphin Dave, I'm not 100%. I think Martelli will stick around. I think he likes Richmond. I think he understands what it means to build up a culture to kind of become a quote-unquote legend at an A-10 school because of what his dad was able to do at St. Joseph's. But, there are still a lot of dominoes to fall. And if I'm a VCU men's basketball fan, I'm still holding my breath a little bit.
Yep, I don't blame you. Hey, listen, you guys enjoy the day on the inside. I'm going to enjoy the day on the outside.
Hey, enjoy
I'll have a cold one for you.
I hope you shoot whatever's a good score for you.
You know what? When I play golf, the safest place to be is in front of me because I shank the ball that much. So I'll just let you know that. Have a good one, guys.
I hope you shoot a 200 then, Dolphin Dave. That sounds like that might be a new personal best. There goes Dolphin Dave. I hope he enjoys a nice cold one out there on the course for us today.
That's funny. The best place to be is right in front of him.
I'm not too dissimilar. I'm not the best golfer. I enjoy a good day out on the course, on the links, as they say over there across the pond, but I'm not the best at it.
No, it's not my forte either, but it is a pretty relaxing sport if you don't know what you're doing.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Very true. I'll play with my friends who are big time golfers.
Yeah.
Both of them played high school golf. They were deciding between whether to go to JMU or to a Division III school to play golf, which means they're good, not great, but better than me, right?
Obviously.
And we'll be playing, and I'll just be having myself a grand old time. I'll just walk up right to the ball, swing away, hit it as fast as I got up to it. And they're over there plotting everything out. They shank a shot, they throw their club, they're screaming, and I'm like, guys, it doesn't matter. You're having a good time. And they're like, no, I need to get a new personal best today. And I'm like, can we crack open a cold one at least?
It's a hobby that can get very intense. I've seen that firsthand.
That's true.
We have a texter. JMU and VCU have something else in common. They each got a UNC coach fired.
That's a great point.
That is a great
point. That's a great point.
Stop
JMU
playing Virginia schools, North Carolina.
they got pushed into the VCU one, but yeah, for JMU, they got what? Not Max Strong. Why am I blanking on his name? He left the program, all of a sudden blanking on his name.
Mac Brown.
Max Strong was an old fullback for the Seattle Seahawks.
Did you see
gone?
The timeline of Herbert getting fired, though, is very interesting because they gave him an opportunity. And I sent you the text yesterday because I didn't know this either, but they gave him the opportunity to show them that he had a plan to improve the team. And so he got back Friday. I think the plan was given to them on Sunday. They looked it over, called him back in on Monday or Tuesday, and they opted to fire him. So even with him having an opportunity to basically save his job, he was unable to do that. I guess he still doubled down on the 6-man rotation.
I've never heard of a coach being given that opportunity and failing at that opportunity.
That is true. And shout out to UNC for going through with it.
Typically, that's when an athletic director is like, all right, man, I'm getting a lot of pressure. I want to retain you, but when I'm asked why I retained you, I'm going to need a list of reasons why you're going to give them to me.
Give me some
and
talking
Hubert
points.
Davis was like, I'm running it back. And they went, I can't say that to the media. Goodbye. That's how I imagine that conversation went.
He thought he was made, but he wasn't, unfortunately.
He's like, I coach with Roy Williams, man.
Yeah,
You
right?
can't fire me.
I'm family.
And UNC goes, and that's why we're taking it out of the family with this next hire.
And you were adopted, actually. So
poor Hubert. He's going to land at a mid-major. And you
I
know
would
what?
never say poor Hubert, man.
He's going to land at a mid-major, and he is going to be
He'll be fine.
good.
But when you're given that kind of opportunity and you just, I wouldn't even, like, you fail in those big moments. That's what these programs are about, right? Like North Carolina is about big moments. Duke and all these other, we know. When you get to a blue blood in football, baseball, basketball, any sport, you're expected to succeed more often than not in those big moments. And when you don't, you do get fired, even though you've got like a pretty decent record overall.
Yeah.
Because those big moments is how you get paid, is how you make your money there.
Did you see Jeff Goodman's tweet yesterday about Hubert Davis?
No.
So Jeff Goodman, he runs Field of 68. He tweeted yesterday, one ACC head coach, an anonymous head coach.
Oh, yeah, that was me.
That was your ACC coach?
That was definitely a quote by me.
This is something you have said on this show.
Exactly.
So an ACC head coach who's nameless said this to Jeff Goodman. So take it with a grain of salt. Anonymity. It's like Finding Nemo. We're trying to say anemone. Quote, I had really hoped he was the coach forever. No one in the ACC was scared of him. I'm worried that they might hire someone really good now because if you get a big time guy at UNC, they could be right there with Duke again.
And shout out to Bobby Knight, who I first heard say that. If
Yikes.
you look across and you see, I forgot who he was referring to, but he said if you look across and you see him, it might have been the coach for LSU. But anyway, he was like, I thought we would definitely lose, but then I looked across and saw so-and-so and knew we had a chance.
That's pretty much what Martelli said in his postgame presser in nicer words, but he was like, I looked over to UNC's bench and I saw they were getting tired.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, all right, Martelli.
So the in-house hire thing is definitely a conversation to be had, right? Because McNamara, Syracuse, in-house hire.
Yeah.
I complained to you during the break about Georgetown and their in-house hires, essentially keeping it in the family, right? Going with the John Thompson tree, players and assistants, etc. Like it works for some people. I would say Duke has an in-house hire per se. That has worked for them. Yeah, like, but it's a gamble.
It's a gamble just like any other outside hire is. And I get it, right? Like if you're Jim Boeheim and you're leaving Syracuse, you probably want to hand the program over to someone you really trust. Boeheim was there forever. And that's part of it too. Coach K did it. Roy Williams did it.
UVA tried it.
UVA, well, Tony Bennett tried it where he almost, because I think he knew they would not do it. So he tried to force their hand. But like, it's an interesting spot to be in because for a lot of these in-house, in-family hires, it happened because the coach became bigger than the program. So the coach could control where they wanted it to go next. And typically when a coach is deciding who they want to hire next, that's when things go wrong. That's what went wrong with Autry at Syracuse. I think that's what's going wrong or went wrong with Hubert Davis at UNC. I think Shire is just a very, 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 very good basketball coach, and Coach K knew that and was able to identify it. You could argue TJ Otzelberger was a little bit of an in-the-family hire with Iowa State, considering he was an assistant there for large portions of time for over a decade. Then he went out, he kind of got his sea legs under him. He came in, now he's been uber efficient at Iowa State. The texter texted in, asked Jerry McNamara at Syracuse, in-house hire, good choice. I like it when you go out and you hire a coach like a Jerry McNamara. If you're dead set on keeping it in-house, right? I like going out and getting a coach who has experience away from the program a little bit. He has the 2 years at Siena. He had some success at Siena, making it into the NCAA tournament. Heck, nearly knocking off Duke in that first round because he had a really good game plan. I would think with the little bit extra money that Syracuse is able to give him, which is being reported that they actually don't have a ton of money, so they need to figure that out. But for Jerry McNamara, I think that's a good hire because it wasn't a complete in-family. But Georgetown, the reason they failed, they hired Patrick Ewing, who had like no coaching experience, and that thing fell apart. And you've got to be able to pull the cord quickly on these in-house, in-family hires, because if it is a Georgetown and you let it go on too long, Ed Cooley, who I think is a good coach, he did a lot of good things at Providence, he steps in and he has to completely put out a dumpster fire and then rebuild the dumpster from nothing, right? Like, I'm not calling Georgetown a dumpster. That was just a bad analogy that I went too far with.
The program's been on the down.
But like, That's the key. And I think Syracuse did a good job at pulling the cord on Autry after year 3. Probably would have done it after year 2 in a 14-19 season, 7-13. But I guess they were holding on hope to the 20-12 first season with Autry. But they pulled the cord quick enough where I think Jerry McNamara can step in and kind of get back to what they were in the prime of Boeheim, when they were making it to the Final Four, when they were winning NCAA tournament games, when they were making it to the Sweet 16 in 2021. I like the Jerry McNamara hire at Syracuse. The evening guys, I don't know if they agree or they disagree. They're two Syracuse guys. I know they've got opinions on it. They probably are a little bit more plugged in. But from an outside perspective, I think the Jerry McNamara hire is good. And I don't mind an in-family hire if that family member went out. It's like going to New York City for a couple of years in your early 20s. You get some world experience, right? Then you can come back to your hometown and you can bring that. Maybe you bring one of those tapas restaurants to the old Midwest and something they've never experienced before. That's what I think Jerry McNamara can do with his little New York City excursion in Siena, which I know is not New York City. All right, let's go on out to the phone lines. We've got Bruce on line 1. Good morning, Bruce. How are we doing on this Thursday?
Good morning, Fitz. Good morning, Alan. Hey, man, I done dropped y'all some bumper music, so I'm hoping y'all can check out that Jim Croce. I want to pose a question to both of you guys regarding coaching and coaches, possible coaching candidates. And I want y'all to tell me if this is a pro guy or a possible college head coach. We haven't talked a lot about the name Sam Cassell. And so Sam has been on the pro tour, of course, in Washington, now in Boston, and he's done several other assistant coaching jobs. He was a star at Florida State, and he's done some college work as well. Is he even being talked about? Have y'all heard?
I've not heard his name being floated anywhere. I think right now he's enjoying life as an assistant with the Celtics up there in the NBA.
You know, I think Sam has put in the work. And, you know, we say Patrick Ewing did not have coaching background, but he had coached. He was an assistant coach with the Magic and on the pro level.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just so difficult, I guess, to assess who can recruit. I think I'm obviously no one is looking at the Kenny Smith name seriously, but I think there's an interesting point relative to recruitment in an NIL world in which Kenny Smith, because of his acumen at some of these high schools, you know, Kenny Smith may actually be a good recruiter. I don't know if he's head coaching, but he's a good recruiter.
I think, Bruce, if he is, then you might bring him on as an analyst or a GM role, kind of to be a mascot for the team. A lot of different colleges are doing that with their former greats, bringing them back in this quote-unquote GM role. Davidson did that with Steph Curry. Maybe that can help with recruiting. But today's day and age of college basketball, I don't think kids care as much about being recruited by Kenny the Jet Smith or anything like that. I think they care about the amount of zeros at the end of their NIL check, which is just either fortunate, unfortunate, however you view it. I think in today's day and age of recruiting, they're coming in, they're asking two questions, and they don't care if they're talking to you, Bruce, or Kenny. They're asking you, am I going to play? Am I going to get minutes? And am I going to get paid? And if you can answer yes, yes, and yes, then odds of them signing with you over, I don't know, a Duke team who answers yes, no, yes, or yes, no, no, or whatever it might be, exponentially higher.
Hey, let me tell you something. Fitz, Allen, let me be straight up and down clear. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
It's long overdue, in my opinion. I heard your argument at the end of the first hour. I have no issue with these players saying, I want a bag.
Yep.
And clearly defining that. I have with no college athletes. So let me not be just singular in what I'm saying. I have no issue with any college athlete stating, I want a bag. I don't care if it's male, female. I have no issues with that. And we got to look at what these universities make off of these sports. I know what Ed O'Bannon did at UCLA and putting this in front of the courts. But it is still being
it's being legislated. Yeah.
Yes, and legislated, and I think players still don't get their fair dibs. And I know people are going to say, this guy's crazy. But players still, for the money their name, image, and likeness brings to these schools, they're still on the short. That's just my take.
Yeah,
You know,
Bruce, and that's why it's still being legislated out, and we're getting court cases about it. It seems like each and every day about what is valid, what's not valid, how much money should be made. And I think that's why we weren't going to see an end to that legislation or the courts or being involved or whatever it might be for another probably 5 years. It's going to be a while. But appreciate you calling in. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Always love catching up.
hope we can get some of that bumper music down, Alan.
That's on Alan. I think he's over there furiously typing away to try and get it all. As we stay on out on the phone lines, heading on over to line 2. We've got Todd on line 2. Good morning, Todd. How are we doing on this Thursday?
Pretty good. Used to listen to you off and on a little bit, but I got to give you your props because the other day I ripped you for your Uber comment and you didn't take it personal. So I appreciate that, man.
Hey, of course. Hopefully the vocabulary has been a bit more impressive. I was saying Uber earlier, but I hope you understand that was the ride share app I was talking about there.
It's all good. Yeah, I'm retired military, Iowa boy, born and raised. Just a little bit of different take. I'm not saying you're wrong on the Ben McCollum. He's a good hire, but I think unless North Carolina rolls up a bank truck, which they have the ability,
yeah,
it'd be a little bit harder than you think to get him out of Iowa because, he was born in Iowa City. He played basketball at Storm Lake, Iowa. He played junior college in Northern Iowa Community College. I went to Northwest Missouri State myself, and that's right on the Iowa border there. So he and the thing about it too is, Iowa's a little different. You're right. It's the corn state. It's a little bit, the loyalty's different. The NILs, they got about $5.5 million for basketball, but that'll go up as they win because it's kind of counterintuitive that, when you win, you get more. It should be maybe the other way, right? When you lose, you need more money. But, and the Iowa kids want to play at Iowa even more than Iowa State. There's some big Iowa State fans, and I like both teams, but Iowa's probably the big dog there to where you can keep the kids in. I mean, when the writing was on the wall when I can't believe the kids, back to went to Kansas with Roy Williams.
Oh,
one of
yeah.
the top players in Iowa. That just didn't happen. And I agree. I mean, if anybody's got enough money, but you're right with NIL and things now, the Blue Bloods is not as big a deal because, like you said, kids is about money and different things, and I think they'd have a hard time getting him out of Iowa. And I'm not a North Carolina fan, but I think I put in an email to you that I love Ben McCollum. He's 1,000 times better than our friend McCaffrey. They kept him McCaffrey too long, but I think North Carolina, it'd probably be a mistake to hire him because he's got to prove it a little bit more. He's done a hell of a job, but like you said, he's only been at Drake at D1 for a year in Iowa, and he's turned it around. Maybe he was great at Northwest Missouri State, won a bunch of national championships there, but there's probably better candidates right now. So, but anyway, that's just my take.
No, Todd, I love it, and I love it coming from an Iowan's perspective, right? I spent my time in Iowa prior to my last job. I worked for a sports book. We were only live in Iowa. I like to say I lived in Iowa for 2 weeks going to the state fair. We were doing some tabling at the state fair, and I got to I felt like I understood a little bit of the culture out there in Iowa. The state fair was an absolutely fantastic time. And you bring up a good point. Like, Ben McCollum is an Iowa guy through and through. I think UNC should this is where I'm coming from with this, because I think they should back up the Brinks truck to him. You're right. He's not necessarily D1 experience, but all of that winning translates. And if I'm UNC, that's who I'm identifying. But it would be tough to pull an Iowa kid away from the Hawkeyes who, no offense to Iowa State, I hope there are no Cyclones listeners because what I'm about to say might rub them the wrong way. Iowa is the state school. Like, that is far and away the number one school in the state of Iowa.
Right. You're right.
And so he's there. Yep. He's winning there. He can find some success there. And look, this is just the foundation. I imagine it'll just get better each and every year. And there's going to be more buy-in. and he can become an Iowa legend, not just an Iowa basketball legend, but an Iowa sporting legend if he stays around, which for an Iowan, for an Iowa kid, that may mean a lot. But for UNC, if I'm them, I'm backing up the Brinks truck to try to get him to come to UNC and pry him away from the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, they might have to, like you used your Penn State analogy, these days where, 20 years ago it'd be a no-brainer. There were the bluest of blue bloods, but, things have changed in college sports. And I'll give you credit, people don't know the Iowa State Fair. If you want to get the culture, that's definitely it. I grew up with people that went to the fair and never left the campground. It was a big party. Drinking's a sport in Iowa.
Oh, it's a huge party. The amount of beer that was being consumed all around me, the craft beer tent. And look, if you haven't made it, if you're listening right now and you haven't made it out to the Iowa State Fair, I highly recommend it. It is an experience out there. They've got an entire cow made out of butter. It is a wild time out there. The butter cow. But Todd, appreciate you calling in. Have a great rest of your Thursday.
You too. Thanks.
Of course, there goes Todd. Appreciate Todd for calling in. And man, I'm not joking, man. If you want to experience pure Americana, head on out to Des Moines, Iowa. Go to the Iowa State Fair for a couple of days. It's a massive event. I was there for 2 weeks, and
I hear State Fair, I think, eats.
Oh, the food was fantastic.
It's crazy.
Fried pork chops. I got
sold.
They got it was a pickle dog, I think they called it, where it was a hot dog with
in a pickle,
wrapped in a pickle and cheese and fried. Oh, they had fried deviled eggs. I'm getting hungry, man.
Yeah.
The Iowa State Fair had some good eats. They had a pulled pork sundae. Oh, best pulled pork I've ever had in my life. It was coleslaw, baked beans, topped with pulled pork with a cherry tomato on top instead of the
only time I'm feeling adventurous.
And the beer's good too. If you're of legal drinking age, the beer is good. All right, let's get a quick break in here. We'll step aside. But before we do that, we're giving away 2 pairs of BCIC tickets. That the festivities get going today, but the games start tomorrow, and then there's games Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we're giving away 2 pairs of tickets to the BCIC this weekend down in Petersburg on the campus of Virginia State at the Multipurpose Center. Be the second and third person to text in 804-327-0888. The second and third person to text in trying to win the BCIC tickets will win a pair of tickets for this weekend down there at the Black College Invitational Championship. Absolutely great time. I'll be down there tomorrow. I can't wait. But we are giving away some tickets. Texter number 2 and texter number 3 both will win a pair. Get in now. 804-327-0888.
1061 ESPN on-air interviews presented by the Herman Allen Plumbing Heating and Cooling Hotline with Lennox products that make the air in your home absolutely perfect.
My perfect day has sand, salt, water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Sky Rizzy. Risankizumab Rizza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Sky Rizzy, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Sky Rizzy is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
This is advertising material. When you clock in for work, you trust your employer to keep you safe. If a workplace injury left you hurt, unable to work, or facing mounting bills, you deserve answers and compensation. Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys has recovered $2 billion for families harmed by unsafe conditions, faulty equipment, and employer negligence. They fight corporations and insurance companies so you can focus on recovery. Don't wait. Call Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys now for free consultation. 877-222-6666 or alexwins.law.
Jackson Hewitt has a great tax prep deal, $149 or less. Missing out is like ignoring a check engine light in your car. You'll regret it. Seriously, the price is only $149 or less, no matter how complicated. So don't wait. Like when you get a password expires today alert or you're shopping online and there's only one item left. It's like your taxes are in the cart. Just complete the purchase. Hurry. This deal for $149 or less is like your phone at 1%. It's about to power down. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
That pallet of pavers collecting dust? The beginnings of a garden? Those stray fence posts? Are you haunted by half-finished projects on your land? John Deere is here to say, not anymore. Our compact tractors allow you to swap implements easily, and they're backed by the nation's largest dealer network. You always had the right idea, and with the right tools, those projects can get finished for good. Nothing runs like a Deere. Learn more at johndeere.com/compact tractors.
Score big with the 106.1 ESPN app. Listen live anywhere. Crystal clear coverage, breaking news, and Richmond's rowdiest sports debates. Tap in and turn it up.
Giving away 2 pairs of tickets down to the BCIC this weekend in Petersburg, Virginia. Be the second and third texter, 804-327-0888 to win a pair of tickets. Some fantastic Division II college basketball happening, men's and women's, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday down there on the campus of Virginia State at the Multipurpose Center. The BCIC tips off with festivities today. Games begin tomorrow. Be the second and third texter to win a pair of tickets to the BCIC. Want to change gears here real quick because we've talked a lot about college basketball for good reason. The Sweet 16 tips off tonight. We'll talk about that a little bit more later on in hour number 2. But Alan, last night was a pretty important day in the world of baseball. We got the start of the 2026 MLB season. The Yankees blanked the Giants on opening day, 1.0, a 7-0 win. Logan Webb didn't come through for you. I know you're still trying to get over that one, but Aaron Judge, well, he didn't come through for anyone either. He had a horrible day at the plate, but it didn't matter as the Yankees were able to blank the Giants and get a win on opening day 1.0, which brings us to opening day 2.0. Sure. I mean, it just feels a little weird that we had this kind of disjointed game yesterday between the Yankees and Giants on Netflix. But hey, games get started here today. A full slate. You can hear the Braves tomorrow when they get their season started right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, as we're the official home of the Atlanta Braves. A ton of games on the docket here today. The Nationals get their season going at Wrigley Field at 2:20 p.m. The Mets play host to the Pirates at 1:15 p.m. Some of these games on MLB.TV, some of these games on NBC Peacock. My Mariners get their season going against the Cleveland Guardians, 10:10 p.m. First pitch might have the dual screen going with the Mariners on one and Illinois Houston on the other. Orioles, they play the Twins at Camden Yards at 3:05 p.m. Some really fun games. The Dodgers, 8:30 p.m. on NBC Peacock as they play the Diamondbacks. Should be a fun day of baseball today, tomorrow, as we really get the season going here. But it leads me to this. You know what you got to do at the start of every single season, Alan? You got to overreact to one game, of course. Got to overreact to the Yankees beating the Giants. I think the Yankees are going to go undefeated and win the World Series based off of what we saw yesterday. They did that without Aaron Judge, man. Just kidding, of course.
They can't keep getting away with it.
They'll fall on their face somehow.
No, I mean, the Yankees, as much as I wish it wasn't true, they are a staple of baseball. They do play baseball well.
They play baseball the right way.
No, I wouldn't say it's the right way.
They hit balls to the short porch in right field.
No, shoot. They were taking advantage of Triple Alley last night, man. They were raking as a team. It was pretty impressive. The only person who wasn't really hitting was Giancarlo, was Aaron Judge. But I mean, if you're a Yankees fan and the season starts out that way, Aaron Judge is going to get going at some point.
Hope.
Yeah, even if it's the first game, you really want to see these guys you didn't expect show up. And I think they did that yesterday. And it's funny, the tale of the WBC, Austin Wells comes in. He looks like he still at DR.
2 for 3 with a run and a walk.
Yeah, Aaron Judge comes in and he looks like he's in playoff form.
Oh, what do you mean? 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts? Is that not good?
That was like the second and third at bat, man. You can't watch 4 fastballs. I mean, he was just watching them. I don't know. It's one at bat. Like I said,
He's in his head.
Yeah, I know he'll turn it around, but it is unfortunate that he still has these moments where I'm like, you are human. I don't feel like I get that a lot with other perennial MVPs. You're supposed to be hitting day one home runs.
Hitting dingers.
Mike Trout used to do it every first game he was
I have
hitting a
high
home run.
expectations, Aaron Judge. I have high expectations. You did not live up to them yesterday, but
he'll be fine.
Max Fried lived up to expectations, making his first opening day start in a Yankees uniform. He went 6 1/3, allowing 2 hits, no earned run, striking out 4 Giants, walking just 1. You hate because they're also set to get back some of their better starters, and Max Fried maybe even just go to the third role.
I hate because Fried was the Braves, man.
Yeah, he was.
Want to pay him,
and look where he is now.
I forgot about the Aaron Judge New York Giants, San Francisco Giants debacle.
Oh yeah,
with
he
his
was
contract.
signed to them for what? For 12 hours or something like that.
Yeah, they were still passionate about hating him too, which might have played a part in his performance last night. So he doesn't get hated as often. Unless he's in Boston, I would assume.
What was it? George Springer, too? Was he the one that was also signed? The Giants had like 2 off seasons where they signed the biggest free agents that then fell through.
Yeah. But the Judge thing, I think, was definitely.
Oh yeah, the Judge thing was on Judge.
Yeah.
I think it was George Springer they signed, and then they failed him on a physical, a la Max Crosby.
I don't blame Judge for staying in New York though. Like
no, you're the
crazy.
king of New York.
Yeah, like
they have an entire section in their bleachers called the judges' chambers, and they give everyone robes.
In American sports is probably the best market to be in.
Now that's a fun offseason question.
Yeah.
Which market would you want to be a huge star in?
The best baseball player on the Yankees is probably going to be my pick because it's still a mythical position. Like you're worshipped in that town.
Yeah.
And it's the biggest market and you're always on TV. So and it's obviously some other spots that would definitely go for it, but that's the one thing in baseball that shines that hasn't changed at all.
Yeah, that's valid. That is valid, and they just need him to turn it around, and then they'll find a nice little rhythm. For the Giants, not a great.
We buried the lead though, man. Did you hear the Barry Bonds interview?
No, I missed the interview.
Oh my gosh, he revealed that apparently
he did take steroids.
No, he was on HGH, which isn't steroids. But
excuse me, sorry, my bad.
But he said Steinbrenner, the boss, called him and told him that he was going to make him the highest paid player in baseball, but he had to sign the contract by 2 p.m. And I'm assuming Barry felt disrespected because he was given a deadline or rushed,
and he didn't sign it.
He hung up on him. And the Giants called, and he ended up going to the Giants. He's like, I'm going back.
Was that dang?
Do you know the course of history, baseball history, of Barry Bonds?
Can I say a conspiracy theory on that?
What?
If Barry Bonds went to New York, he would not have been caught with steroids. Although A-Rod was.
Yeah, I would say he might not have gotten with Conte like he did with the Balco thing.
Yeah.
I think Balco's literally right across the street from Giants Park.
Could you imagine?
Pretty good supply.
Could you imagine if he had been a Yankee?
No, because again, he probably hits 1,500 home runs because he's the most technical power hitter of all time, and he doesn't need the juice with the short porch. He really could just send every single swing to right field if he wanted to.
Bunted, boing.
Yeah, it would have definitely been crazy, and who knows how many championships they would have won with him there. Because he was always still a consistent performer.
We don't give the Yankees enough crap for not winning a lot of World Series once like the rules changed in baseball.
Yeah, because they still always throw it in your face that they do have.
We have 27, whatever it is.
Yeah.
We have a lot. It's like, yeah, but you haven't like won any since the new millennium started. You've won like less than 5.
Actually gotten synonymous with failures.
Yeah.
I think that's on Boom.
I think that's on a lot of different things. I think
on their best players,
I think it's
sometimes not showing up. You're right.
Yeah, poor Judge. But
I don't know.
I got some picks. You ready for these picks for this season?
Let's do it. If it's all Dodgers, spare me.
So it's Shohei Ohtani. No, I'm kidding. World Series pick. I'm not picking the Dodgers to win the World Series. I'm not a front runner. That's no fun. I'm going behind my favorite team, the Mariners.
The Mariners.
I'm going to go Mariners. Look, it's going to be tough for Cal Raleigh to replicate what he did last year because he was he did something we've never seen a catcher do, which is play almost. I think he only missed 1 or 2 games last year.
Yeah.
He was the day in, day out catcher, and he raked at the plate. That's something you just don't see all that often. One of the best defensive catchers in the league, one of the best offensive catchers in the league. If he's able to get 75% of the production back that he had last year, the Mariners should be really well set, and it really adds a lot of thunder to the middle of their lineup. Julio Rodriguez had a really good 30-30 season last year, and I like what their offense is, but I love what their pitching staff is. Logan Gilbert, Brian Wu, George Kirby. That starting rotation, It's going to win them a lot of games late in the season. And that's what I'm hanging my hat on, picking the Mariners. I love that pitching staff.
It's so hard not to pick the Dodgers because they're so good.
Okay, let's say this. We both picked the Dodgers, of course, but for fun.
For funsies. American League, I actually will raise you Tigers. I think AJ Hinch and the Tigers get it done this year. AJ Hinch is the poster child for me when I talk about managers who can influence a game more so than they're given credit for. He knows how to get the most out of that roster.
You say AJ Hinch?
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows how to do a lot.
Hey, I know the scandal. I know the scandal. If he brings that back, guaranteed to win the World Series.
You ain't wrong there. Hey,
but he gets
that's a fastball coming.
Yeah, I know. He gets a lot out of this team. Skubal looks to still be in good form. They picked up another big time pitcher, I believe, during free agency. I have to go back and check their roster, but I expect their bats to actually be a little bit more consistent this year as well, because a lot of those guys were still green last year, and that run that they had into the postseason, that experience is going to do a lot for them.
Yeah. You ready for some a dark horse pick? A dark horse pick.
Go for it.
Orioles.
I'm not going there with the Orioles again this year.
Look,
I'm not.
They got some middle of the order power, bringing in Pete Alonso.
Nah.
Gunnar Henderson. They're young players. Can't be as bad as they were last year, right? Right?
Nah. Red Sox, man.
Oh, okay, that's a good one.
Red Sox are gonna really smack some people around this year, I think.
That whole division.
Oh, it's always gonna be a fight.
Like that is the one tough part about picking the Orioles out of the AL East. You got to deal with the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, and the Orioles. Good luck.
Bold prediction: Vladdy wins AL MVP.
Bold prediction: Cal Raleigh wins AL MVP.
Vladdy's going to outperform.
I mean, Cal's going to have a very uphill battle to get back there because, like I said, he did something no one's really ever done last year.
He's got the marketable nickname and
the
stuff
big
like
dumper.
That. Yeah,
he's very marketable. I like Vladdy though. NL.
Yes.
I went Shohei Ohtani.
They're gonna give it to Shohei no matter what. If Shohei can pitch enough games, he's definitely gonna get it, man. Like it's inevitable. There isn't a better player than him in the National League.
No.
There's not
a better player than him in MLB.
Yeah, there's not really much of a debate to be had.
There's not a better player than Shohei Ohtani. I'll keep building on this. There's not a better player than Shohei Ohtani in the history of baseball.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, obviously I haven't seen the entire history of baseball.
I have.
But
I did it all last night.
Yeah, I was like, you got a Cy Young. He's a Cy Young on the mound, and he's a Silver Slugger at the plate. I mean, it's hard to argue otherwise.
Doing it not against plumbers like Babe Ruth was. I'm just saying.
Why does everybody say plumbers when they talk about the older players? Can't they be farmers or something?
Not
like
against
that?
milkmen.
Yeah,
I don't know. Some other random.
Help my plumbers out here, man.
Yeah, you're right. Plumbers are very athletic. I bet there's a very competitive adult basketball league of plumbers.
There's weekend warriors. But let's try a surprising team in the National League. Man, I think the Cubs. I haven't checked to see if people are picking them to win the Central. I still think it still goes through Milwaukee.
Yeah, but
I think the Cubs will be solid this year.
They're a trendy dark horse pick type of guy because they got Pete Crow Armstrong back. They signed him to a massive deal. What was it? Yesterday or 2 days ago, they finally inked out that extension.
Yeah.
2 days ago, 6 years, $115 million for Crow Armstrong, one of the best outfielders in the game. That is a huge contract. Deal starts in 2027, does not include a club option, but you're able to ink him in before the season starts. He should have a good year. Cubs are another fun little dark horse. But our picks are officially in. World Series picks, Mariners, Allen, Astros.
No, Tigers.
You hear my bad. I hear AJ Hinch. No. I go immediately Astros. I do always forget that he is the manager of the Tigers. And then I see him do a mound visit. I'm like, that's right.
Yeah, that's where he went.
That's where he is now. All right, I like it. And your AL MVP was Vladdy. Mine's Cal. Your NL MVP was.
I'll go with the chalk. I'll go Shohei.
Yeah, we both go Shohei, and then a dark horse for you, the Cubs.
Yeah, I like the Cubs as my dark horse there to surprise some folks this year.
I like it. All right, let's get a quick break in here. We'll step aside. We'll break down some. There was a story that came out in The Athletic the other day. Really, really well done story breaking down the latest on Chandler Morris. We haven't really talked about any of the updates that is happening over there in Charlottesville. We'll break that down coming up next on Fitz the Bill.
Jackson Hewitt has a great tax prep deal, $149 or less. Missing out is like ignoring the check engine light in your car. You'll regret it. Seriously, the price is only $149 or less, no matter how complicated. So don't wait. Like when you get a password expires today alert or you're shopping online and there's only one item left. It's like your taxes are in the cart. Just complete the purchase. Hurry. This deal for $149 or less is like your phone at 1%. It's about to power down. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
Hop in a John Deere Gator XUV for a day's work. Let's see what's on the to-do list. There goes the tree. And the fence. Not a problem. Because you've got a cargo box filled with solutions. Up to 4,000 pounds of towing capacity. And you're ready to roll. Here we go again. The Gator XUV. Built for every kind of workday. Learn more at johndeere.com/Gator XUV. Nothing runs like a deer.
Tune in to the Enjoy the Madness basketball show Wednesdays at 6 p.m. here on 106.1 ESPN. Presented by RVA's premier low-speed vehicle Bentelli dealer, Richmond LSV.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-921-8189. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-921-8189. 800-921-8189. 800-921-8189.
This is Freddie and Harry on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Can't be in Connecticut.
I just got to say, I am very, very disappointed, particularly in Mr. Coleman. I waited all year long for you guys to open up this bracket challenge. Last year, we did the one shining moment. Freddie, I got to say, a man of your stature, that was a lackluster performance.
Wait, did you hold on to that for a whole year?
And I love it, Can't be.
Check out more from Freddie and Harry weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Everything that you can say about Aaron Judge, you can also in a lot of ways apply it to Bryce Harper, and you can absolutely apply it to Mike Trout. You have these guys who you think are going to be the one that is going to be the superstar that wins and wins consistently. And all of these guys haven't done it. All of those guys go into the what if category, and I think that's been detrimental to the game.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday mornings starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2. Stuck off the field? 106.1 ESPN's got your back. Stream every debate, score, and highlight on the 106.1 ESPN app. Download today and stay in the game.
We're throwing Chandler Morris's whole situation right now on the back burner. We'll let that one simmer because we've had
the bumper.
Yeah,
Man.
we've had a
North
couple.
Carolina?
Will Wade can't get enough. LSU can't get enough of Will Wade.
Oh no, man, that's
so
wow.
Essentially, the update is that there isn't really an update, but there's slightly an update, which is always fun in these situations that are ever evolving. But Jeff Goodman is reporting from Field of 68. On 3 is reporting as well that after just one season in Raleigh, all signs are that Will Wade is headed back to LSU. A source familiar with the situation, a source close to the situation, told Jeff Goodman in the Field of 68, the deal isn't done, but it's headed that way. You brought up a good point in the commercial break. They may just be waiting until April 1st to make it official when they have the buyout drop from $5 million to $3 million for Will Wade. Save themselves $2 million, throw that into their NIL fund.
Yeah, that was the stipulation I thought I read and thought was interesting too, is that they're trying to get all the parts to move before the April 1st change. And then once April 1st hits, that buyout goes down a couple mil, and that's chump change for LSU.
Yeah, truly.
I mean, it is.
Well, John Rothstein is now also reporting that LSU will officially part ways with Matt McCann, their current head coach, today and hire NC State's Will Wade as its next basketball coach. it will be interesting to see how this is all worked out.
This is crazy.
Well, another source said to John Rothstein that Heath Stroyer is officially leaving McNeese and will join LSU as senior deputy AD and executive director of external relations for the LSU system. It's worth noting that he and the current AD at LSU were the ones to hire Will Wade at McNeese. So a lot of moving parts. It is a little crazy.
It's really crazy.
I am going to be very intrigued to see how the buyout portion of this all works out and how that cookie crumbles, because it's a horribly kept secret now. Everyone knows LSU is going to hire them. So is there some legal standing where LSU could be like, no, you have, or NC State, I should say, be like, you worked out this deal in its entirety. You just didn't get a signature until after April 1st. We want the full $5 million buyout because you were negotiating this. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know how
you can do that, and LSU will say, "Fine, take 7 and shut up." Like you're dealing with sharks. You are a dolphin at best.
You are a wolf playing with tigers.
This is deep water, man. Like LSU blue chips, like it's a real thing. I talk about it all the time, but like, yeah, there are limits and levels to this game that we play in college athletics, and LSU is a big fish. Like that buyout is nothing to them.
That is true. And it just adds an extra layer to now what this coaching carousel is going to look like this offseason, because UNC's vacant. They're likely going to poach from another power conference school, opening up that job. NC State's now open. And I know I do not think Martelli is leaving this offseason. But if I'm a VCU fan, I'm holding my breath right now because it's getting a little bit closer to home.
It's 3-year thing expedited to a year now. I don't care at this point. I know some VCU fans will freak out about it. If he goes to NC State, if he goes to UNC, it is definitely a level up for him. And I completely understand that. If you leave me for Providence Martelli Jr.,
that's what you're batting.
I will make sure PMJ is your nickname for
PMJ. That's a good nickname.
It's awful.
We've got now.
He would not approve that. We got to get him on the phone to see if he approves that.
We've currently got 3 ACC openings. Boston College is open.
Don't leave me for Boston College either. I'm sorry.
NC State is open. North Carolina is open. So those are the power conference jobs open right now.
But can we get some outrage from people though? Like this man left after a year. I feel bad for the Wolfpack.
I feel really bad for NC
They thought
State.
they had something. They thought they were going to build something. Heck, I fell for it too almost.
You did fall, because I remember I came on. I was like, "Did you hear Will Wade? He might be going to LSU." And you're like, "Man, that ain't happening."
Yeah,
like
Will Wade.
I feel like if there's any coach in the country that would do it, it would be Will Wade.
My bar is on the floor for Will Wade. He went under that. He's now leveling down, which is crazy.
It's a round of applause for Will Wade. He outdid himself. You know, I didn't think it was possible, but
I didn't either.
Something I love saying. Nevertheless. Nevertheless. That's all I can say about Will Wade. All right, let's get a quick break in here. We'll step aside, be back to wrap up this Thursday edition of Fitz the Bill.
Tune in to the Enjoy the Madness basketball show Wednesdays at 6 p.m. here on 106.1 ESPN, presented by RVA's premier low-speed vehicle Bentelli dealer, Richmond LSV.
From driveways to interstates, accidents happen fast. The insurance company's response? Here's our offer. Take it or leave it. Leave it. Call Alexander Shenard Trial Attorneys. Over 250,000 clients. And no, they don't accept lowball offers. They fight, they win. Over $2 billion recovered. Call now for a free consultation. 877-222-6666 or alexwins.law. Past results do not guarantee future outcomes. Every case is different. Phil George's licensed attorney in Virginia is responsible for legal work. Office is located at 500 East Main Street, Suite 1600-113, Norfolk, Virginia 23510.
Is your home's AC ready for spring? Call Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling for tune-ups or to install a new cooling system. For a limited time, purchase a new qualifying Lennox system for up to $1,800 in rebates, or qualified buyers make no payments, incur no interest for 60 months when financing a new Lennox system. Contact Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling at 804-746-5853 or HermanAllenPlumbing.com today. Conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Every headline sounds different when you explain what it actually means. That's the Sports Huddle with Matt and Bob, weekdays 4 to 6 on 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
Oh, another free one. Thanks, dog. You always hook me up.
Another hour of the fun stuff on deck.
Another one of your nonsensical rambling stories.
And another round for everyone on me.
I don't want to hear another peep. Okay, all right, here's another one.
Another thing before we get up on out of here on this Thursday, Sweet 16 tips off tonight. We've got to give our picks for the 4 games on tap. Illinois, Houston, that's the nightcap. That's the 10:05 tip. We've got Texas, Purdue starting things off, Iowa, Nebraska at 7:30, and Arkansas, Arizona at 9:45. Allen, Texas, Purdue a 7.5 point favorite over the closest thing we've got to a Cinderella. But look, I refuse to call the Texas Longhorns an 11 seed a Cinderella.
Oh, they've addressed that.
What did they say?
They said you don't want to call them a Cinderella because they showed up in a Lamborghini.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So they said they're still a Cinderella.
I needed a pumpkin. You didn't give me a pumpkin. Look, there's a difference between a pumpkin and a Lamborghini. If you start in a Lamborghini, you can't be Cinderella. The closest you can be is an evil stepsister.
All right, Sean Miller. I believe in you, baby.
You're what?
I believe in you, baby.
Believe
Sean Miller has been so money in these spots, man. I'm getting my 7.5, 8, whatever you want to put on it. Give me Texas to cover. Texas for the upset.
Texas money line upset.
Texas money line upset. Whoa. Come on, Sean Miller.
I'm so
I'll
against
hedge
you.
with the spread. I'll hedge with the spread.
Purdue 7.5. Give me Purdue minus
Come
7.5.
on, Sean Miller. Don't you do this to me.
Purdue's just the better basketball team.
I know.
In every facet.
It's Miller time.
Texas's defense doesn't turn you over. Purdue's offense doesn't turn the ball over. Purdue's offense is the most efficient unit in the entire country, and you're telling me Texas will just give them 70 possessions easily this entire game?
I mean, historically speaking, I'm supposed to be able to depend on Miller until at least the Elite Eight.
You know, that's not wrong, and I'm also relying on a Matt Painter who is known for kind of falling on his face
around
in
this
round.
Yeah.
Since 2010, he has gotten past the Sweet 16 just twice.
And my boy Miller lives in the Elite Eight in Sweet 16.
So that is something that's working against me. This is a prime spot for Purdue to mess up.
Gambling time, baby. Come on, Texas.
I'm going Purdue minus 7.5. Iowa, Nebraska. Nebraska's a 1.5 point favorite. I think if you've been listening this week, you know where I'm going with this. Give me Iowa money line upset.
Hey, man, give me Iowa too for our caller.
Yeah, our native Iowan, Todd.
Yeah.
I love a good Iowan. And he said the part that I also know, and I also said it. Iowa is the state of Iowa school. Iowa State may think they have a claim to that, but man, the Hawkeyes dominate the state of Iowa.
And I'm still a little bitter about Nebraska just spurning all my predictions. So
yeah,
give me Iowa.
I had Troy beating Nebraska. I didn't. It's been tough for me, but I like Iowa. I like the Hawkeyes. Give me them on the money line upset. We're both in agreement there. Arkansas, Arizona. This is a fun one.
How could you AI? God, man.
Yeah, Allen Iverson. He's mentoring Darius Acuff.
How could you do this to me?
Which I got to say, Bruce has got an eye for talent because I think Bruce called
Bruce
it.
was the first one said in
early
January.
on in the year. He goes, "Does this guy's game remind you of AI?"
Yeah,
and we were like, "I don't know." And then turns out that AI has been mentoring him this whole time.
Could you do this to me?
Acuff just signed a huge NIL deal with Reebok. Give me Arizona minus 7.5.
I'm terrified of the call, man. I'm terrified. Come on, Cal, trick this up. Let me get Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona. Well, look.
They're the better team, 1,000%.
They are much
But the best player is on Arkansas.
No, the best offensive player is on Arkansas.
That's all you need at this point. You got to score some points, man.
You do got to score some points, but you also sometimes got to defend a little bit. And Darius Acuff sometimes leaves a little bit to be desired on the defensive end of the court.
How could you, AI? That's all I got to say. I feel betrayed.
Acuff might go for 35 and Arizona wins by 10.
That's true.
That's kind of how I see this game playing out because Arizona has an elite level defense. They're going to lock down every other ball player not named Darius Acuff, and they're going to dare Acuff to win this game himself. They're not going to.
Make Cal coach.
And look, Arkansas, they've got good players, not great players. Darius Acuff is their far and away best player. For Arizona, they've got 4 dudes.
Oh, yeah.
I think Arizona covers the spread.
4 + 1.5.
4 plus 1.5.
Yeah, they got a couple guys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought you meant the spread. I was like, that's a weird way to say it. I've never heard that betting.
Yeah.
And before we get up on out of here, Illinois, Houston. Houston, a 2.5-point favorite. I got Illinois money line upset.
Drag these boys, Houston. Let's go.
All right. Should be a fun night of Sweet 16 action. We'll be back tomorrow to recap it and preview Friday's slate of games. You don't want to miss it. Also, tomorrow, starting things off down in Petersburg, the BCIC. Congratulations to all of our ticket winners. Should be an absolute blast down there tomorrow on the campus of Virginia State. Coming up next, Clinton and Friends. That takes you into the Rich Eisen Show. And then we are back live and local from the capital of the Commonwealth starting at 4 with the new Sports Huddle with Matt and Bob. And the Lake Lewis Jr. Show tonight, 6 to 7 p.m. You don't want to miss it. That is streaming everywhere and live right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, where Richmond talks sports.
Hook 'em, Miller.
Your home for Richmond Spiders athletics all year round. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURV HD2 Richmond. We are 106.1 ESPN.